Okay, thanks for joining me. This video is specifically for landlords. If you want to join us as a renter, I'm fine with that. You'll be able to see the actual policies and federal manuals for this. Look, my channel is not about tips and tricks and to give you 3 minutes of advice. There's enough of that stuff going around. It will send you in circles and you're not going to learn much from a 5-minute video, okay? This video will, however, not be that long, but what I'm going to do is connect you with all the federal manuals to detail every piece of this, okay? There's no puzzle to go through. It spells out everything very clearly, and then we'll have a brief summary as I go through the video here that should last about 10 minutes if you want to hang around that long. Okay, to make things very simple, I have my own website, okay? There are no advertisements, as you can see on the screen that you're looking at. It is bare white, and it only puts the suggested information in there. All of these links on here go to actual federal manuals, okay? They're not going to go to anybody else's news articles or private sites. Are all .gov, .city, .county, or .hud, okay? So there are no malicious links or anything like that, okay? So if you want to find the address to the website, it's simply in my comment section, or you can find it in the description and just click on it and it'll bring you right to this website right here, okay? So I'll give you a brief summary, nothing too long-winded there, and then what you'll see is I'm a landlord, and then it suggests what you want to do, and then the first thing you'll look at, and we'll just click on it real quick, it's going to be your fact sheet. Notice at the very top, HUD.gov, okay? So that lets you know right straight away these are the actual manuals. You're not wasting your time, and you don't have to listen to some talking head for a half hour talk about a bunch of bullshit, okay? Just to be frank with you. All right, we're going to go back, and then what I want to do is go back into that page again. So down below, we have a flow chart for HCB. Now look, the old school term for this program was Section 8, okay? It's really not Section 8 anymore. That's the old version. So what it is the housing choice voucher, and these vouchers allow people to get a check from the government sent directly to you, no matter if the world is ending, okay? No matter what devastation happens, you always get these checks. The only guarantee that you're not going to get is the 30% that they owe, which is usually a very minor amount of money. So you're guaranteed your payments no matter what, unless the U.S. government fails. Okay? Next, what you can do is list your rental property. Trust me when I tell you, if you're going to be leasing or getting into the program in order to accept housing choice vouchers, known as Section 8, you're not going to have a problem leasing. In fact, you'll remain at 100% all the time. People are already very much screened for criminal records, so you don't have to worry about that. They're screened for income. And then you're already receiving a check with all that, okay? They also have programs that enable them to help with deposits, as long as you don't make the deposits too outrageous. So you can list your property on there, and if you focus on people that have special needs, like disabled and all that, then there may be additional rent you can potentially get through that. If you sign up through a COC program that deals with formerly homeless people that are back on their feet and back to normal, you may receive up to 100% if it's a permanent supportive housing situation, and it's for an indefinite term. You can review your lease every 12 months or longer, but you get the whole payment all the time, okay, including the deposits. So, I mean, you have zero risk unless the renter is going to tear up your house, okay? Down here, know how much will I receive for the rent? Well, look, it's based on the median rent for the area. So as long as you're not asking more than the people that are in your neighborhood are asking, and your house is valued, correctly, then you should be fine. And then you can click that link and look at all the descriptions for the amounts. Okay. The other thing is you have inspection requirements. Okay. Look, most of the time when HUD wants to nitpick, it's going to be over silly things like a smoke detector. Trust me, you're not going to break your bank having to put in 2 batteries or put up 2 smoke detectors, okay? The main thing is, if you are in fact a slumlord and you're not going to fix things, this is not going to be the program for you. They'll simply terminate it, okay? So if you're just going to rent a shack, forget about it, okay? Because it's just not going to work out for you. If you have an older property, that's fine. Just make sure that everything is suitable, okay? And so you'll learn what they're looking for, and you'll look at the list of things that they're wanting to require. It's nothing special, okay? Nothing more than you would if you were selling the home itself, okay? So besides the inspection requirements, you have the initial flow chart for the inspection. Tells you everything, so you can click on that link, it'll take you there. And then you have tenant obligations, okay? So it spells out exactly what your obligations are, and then you also get to see what the tenant's obligations are. And that's a conversation you also want to have face-to-face with your tenant to make sure that you both agree. Look, they're still applying for your property. You're not forced to take just anybody. You could select the people that you believe are going to best fit your situation as long as you're not going to discriminate, okay? So you don't have to accept people that you realize may have been a problem before, because they pre-screen people that trash homes and apartments. Once these guys do stuff like that and have done it in the past, they're not allowed back in the program. So, you know, you don't have to worry about it. Let me be frank about one other thing. The news loves to put up videos about, you know, how somebody's home got trashed, you know, from a Section 8 renter and how it all got tore up. On YouTube, it's even worse, because a lot of the stuff that's published that you're seeing on YouTube about properties being tore up and damaged is actually fake. There are a lot of people that make money, ad revenue on YouTube, and what they do is they go out in areas like Detroit, you know, where there's a whole section of neighborhoods that are abandoned houses. This is why you never see them put a key in a door, because they go out in these abandoned houses and then they make all this shit up. That's what they do, and they make a video of it pretending this home their home, when in fact all they did was go on somebody's abandoned property, push open the door, take a video, pretend like this is their home, and then they give that shock value on YouTube. Look, I can tell you probably less than 1 or 2% of all cases ever lead to that, and then you still have the ability to disseminate whether or not you believe the person's going to be a problem, and that's if all the other checks don't check out, okay? So, you know, I would not, I would not be that suspicious of it, okay? I wouldn't. Other thing I'm going to tell you is there are some landlords that are just desperate for money, and they put themselves in their own situation, which means instead of going through normal screening processes and pulling from a large pool of people, what they end up doing is they take the first lunatic that applies, that has a voucher in their hand, and then they end up in that bad situation. So they didn't even do their due diligence. They were just simply desperate for money, and then they allowed what they knew was potentially going to be a problem. You know, they could clearly see that the person holding the voucher, it probably was, you know, somebody that's currently on drugs. That, you know, you can tell a lot. If they're driving up in a car, you look through the window and the car inside that car is trash, and they want to rent your place, you should probably expect that to be the same situation in your home when you get it back. All right, enough of the lecture on that end. So after you learn about your obligations, then you can contact, this is where you start your process. You contact your local PHA, which is basically your local housing authority. And like I said, you're not going to have any problems renting, okay? You just need to make sure you're screening people and get the right people in. And look, you're not going to get people with perfect credit, but look, like I said, these payments for a lot of the stuff, their end of the responsibility is very low, okay? Now, you can sign up on the mailing list through HUD, and that's going to give you a lot of additional tips and tricks. If you're going to get tips and tricks from clowns on YouTube, then you might as well just go ahead and get it from the federal government. At least you'll get some sound advice, okay, besides getting these manuals from my videos. You can also sign up for the Landlord Participation Webinar Series on HUD, where you actually are sitting there talking back and forth with a real federal employee from HUD that can discuss and disseminate any concerns that you may have about it, okay? It's not a perfect system, but for the most part, 98% of the time, it does work out well. You know, there's probably over 1 million houses around the country, okay? Now, you do a Google search for houses tore up and wrecked and trashed, you're not going to find 1 million cases. You'll find less than 0.5%. And even then, it's because the news likes to glamorize that kind of stuff, okay? Anyways, fair market rents, that's going to be another link you want to take a look at, okay? Some of you guys, you know, you get a little bit greedy about the rent. You want to drive that price up real big because you understand that up to 70 or 80% of that rent's being paid by the government, and you don't have to worry about anything. Well, look, there is a line that you can't cross with that, so you need to make sure you're in check with your area, okay? The HCB program and guidebook. That is your Bible. That's what you're going to use. If you have problems and you can't figure things out with your tenant, it spells out everything that you need to know in that guidebook. Then rolling down, we have the housing choice voucher regulations. Look, a lot of people are guilty of going and getting a phone plan, but they don't want to read the 38 pages of terms and conditions. I would suggest that you take that and read the terms and conditions and deal them with HUD so you make sure that you understand every part. It is your own fault if you get involved in something and then you go, oh, well, shit, I didn't read that. I just wanted to sign up and get a paycheck. You know, you're going to have to pay attention to things and make sure that's going to fit with what you're trying to do as an investment, okay? And then the last thing, again, inspections, okay? Not just an entry inspection where the person is able to, you know, you give them the keys and they're renting from you, but you're entitled to inspections throughout the year within reason to ensure that, you know, there's not a broken pipe and they're simply not reporting it to you. You still need to maintain a certain level of ensuring that the property is going to be in good standing condition throughout the year, especially at the turn of summer and the turn of winter, when things are likely to go wrong with things like plumbing and electrical, okay? Look, I hope you've enjoyed this, and like I said, I didn't want to go into a 18-hour symposium about explaining every detail of the program. That's what these links are specifically for. That way, you don't have to spend the next 20 days searching YouTube, getting advice 3 minutes at a time, and a lot of the advice that's being handed out on YouTube is specifically from YouTubers only dealing with their situation in their city, which is irrelevant, completely irrelevant to you and your city. So at least if you're going to get real advice, get it from the HUD, get it from the federal government, and these are the manuals that you need, okay? I appreciate your time. I have a lot of videos, and if you want to look up that library of close to 100 videos, there's a lot of things out there that will be useful, and I will be covering many more topics for landlords and connecting you with actual real resources and operations manuals for HUD and housing authorities around the country, okay? Thank you for your time. Have a good day.